Focused on leadership and communication to build your knowledge, authority, visibility, and influence as a leader. 6 dimensions: intelligence, the regulating and recalibrating; integrity, intelligence, trust, unification, intelligence, procedure, leverage, and results. Intelligence.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Leadershipization, all things leadership. Our focus this week, and this is kind of a carry on from last week, our focus is on your career. And what I want to start by saying is this: if senior leaders only see what you deliver, they may trust your work. However, they may not yet trust how you think. Now, there's a distinction between how you deliver your work and how you think. And this distinction really matters because delivery tells us how you get things done. How you think tells people whether you're ready for more. And what happens with many capable leaders is that they're working really hard, producing the result and keeping things moving, but they're still communicating at that task level. They're communicating with updates, they're communicating by reporting what's going on, by explaining what was happening, and they're communicating by showing output. And these things don't always reveal how you think as a leader. Because if people cannot hear what you think, they may well hesitate to trust you with bigger influence, with more complexity, and with the next level of opportunity. You know, your output proves that you can deliver, but your thinking proves that you can lead beyond the work. My name is Beth Bergen. I'm a global leadership and communication coach. Join me as we examine this topic, starting with exactly what senior leaders are actually listening for when they're deciding whether to trust you with more responsibility, with special projects, or with promotion. So my first point today is this: senior leaders listen for thinking, not just progress. They're going to be listening. They'll be really tuned into listening for how you are going to make sense of what is happening. Yep, the updates matter, but that's not the whole thing that leadership is about. And this may be the change that you need to make. They want to hear how you understand things. They want to hear what is happening in the background, not just about the progress. So they're going to want to hear how you read the situation, what it is that you think matters, and how you make sense of that complexity. If you stay at the level of this is what we did, that's too operational. And what it means is that there's a limited input from a strategic perspective, which means that people don't hear what you are thinking. Your seniors don't hear what you are thinking. Now, our second point is this, and this is an area that we often fall into. It's really easy. Don't assume that your thinking and reasoning is obvious. Don't assume that your thinking and reasoning is obvious. If you don't communicate the thinking behind the work, people may only credit you with the work because they haven't heard about anything else. And it's really easy for us to assume that the thinking behind the decisions that we've made is really obvious, but it's actually invisible in lots of cases unless you name it. So the responsibility sits behind you to explain the reasons for the decision. Now, this isn't about over explaining it, it's about making sure that your thinking becomes visible. So it's the insights, the implications, and the recommendations that you might want to make. So let's start getting you thinking about how can I explain my thinking so people see that this is what has informed the decisions or that I've made or the outcomes that I've achieved. Point 3 today is this one. Strategic conversations or strategic communication moves from the detail of what's been going on to the meaning. Detail shows effort. It shows that this is what we've achieved. This is what we've been able to do. Here are the outcomes. Meaning shows your leadership thinking, and that's what we're focused on showcasing. Operational communication is all around the detail. It's all around the activity and the things that have been completed. Strategic communication has a focus on meaning. It's about what matters. It's about what's changed, what risks might have been taken into account, and what decision is needed. At a senior level, your leaders they do not need every single detail. They need more higher level significance about the detail. They want to know what sits behind that detail. And the shift here that you need to make is from what we did to here is what this means. We did this, and this is what it means. And what that will do is lift your profile and start to demonstrate that you're ready to be a next level operator. Yeah? Point 4 today. Senior leaders need to hear how you weigh up choices, risks, and consequences. Competing priorities. They're there all the time. They want to understand that you understand about competing priorities and imperfect information. They want to know that you're able to see a bigger picture and that you've got that bigger picture perspective. And this shows seniors that you can think as a leader. And so part of what you have a responsibility to do in driving your own career is to name the kind of factors that you considered when you're making a decision. Things like risk, things like timing, things like the quality of the work, things like the people, the cost, your capacity, your reputation, the impact that this may have, and the momentum that the project will have or will need to maintain. Now, this isn't about you suddenly dropping into a really heavy use of executive language. That's not what it's about. It's about by naming the factors considered and talking about your thinking, you're actually showing that you understand what's at stake. Now, often people that I coach say to me, "Oh, yeah, I'm not sure about that. I don't know as much as I need to know about that." Indicate that there's more to be learned, and this is what you're doing about that. Because recognizing that there's more to be learned in order to inform the tasks that you're or the project that you're responsible for completing demonstrates your ability to think strategically. What you're wanting to do here is to move from the owner of the task to a trusted thinker. Now, people will trust your thinking much more when they can hear what you considered before you made the call or made the decision. Yeah. Number 5 today. Don't hide, excuse me, scratching itchy eyebrow. Don't hide your big picture thinking. Don't hide your big picture thinking. Now, often when we're working for an organization, um, we're encouraged to think a lot about the cost or the money, the income that we're going to get from something, the profit. Remember, what I want you to remember is that commercial thinking is about much more than dollars. It's about all of those things that I named earlier: the risk, the timing, the people, the quality, the cost, the capacity of the organization, your reputation, the impact this decision is going to make. Now, if you're thinking commercially, with all of those factors that I've just renamed for you, if you're thinking commercially, but you're reporting operationally, your seniors don't get to see that broader lens. They just see the operational stuff. Now, it's really important when you've got stretch assignments or special projects, or you're acting in a role and you've got the potential for promotion, that you are actually able to talk to that big picture thinking. It's much more at this level, much, much more than did you complete the work? And it's a whole lot about you being able to demonstrate that you understand why this work matters, that you understand and can talk to why this work matters, because it doesn't matter how much big picture thinking, it doesn't matter how much commercial thinking you're doing in your head. Well, that's not true. It actually matters to you. If other people can't see that and you're not sharing it with other people, then it isn't building your credibility. And that's what we're looking to do here. So I've got a simple leadership intelligence tool that I want to share with you today. It's simple, however, it's really effective. And it's what I call the thinking signal sentence. And it's the start of a sentence that will make a huge difference to how you talk about your thinking and share your thinking. So this is the sentence is this, or the start of the sentence is this: the thinking behind this is ... The thinking behind this is ... Now, what is this not? It is not the whole backstory. It is not a 10-minute over the top explanation about everything that might have happened. It is not every single step you took explained in huge detail. It's the thinking. And this is awesome for you to use for updates, to make recommendations, to explain decisions, to share risk, and for nearly every conversation that you would be having with someone who's in a senior role in the organization or business that you're working in. Now, let's give you a couple of examples here. Instead of saying, quite simply, the project is slightly delayed, that's an update. What we want to do is we want to be able to demonstrate our thinking. So we might say something like this: the project is slightly delayed, and the thinking behind that is slowing down now will help us to protect the quality and avoid the need for a whole lot of rework later. Can you see? We haven't pumped it up for no reason. We've actually, here's the thinking. The thinking is we slow it down now and we can manage the quality a whole heap better, and we can also avoid the need for bigger rework later on. What we all know is that rework costs money. So that's a great example. I'll give you another one. We might say we've chosen option B. It's an update. Yeah, maybe it feels like enough. However, what we're wanting to do is to bring your thinking to the attention of seniors, because we're focused on building your career opportunities. We want to increase your visibility. So using the trigger sentence that I've given you, it becomes this. We've chosen option B, and the thinking behind this is that it gives us the best balance between speed, risk, and the capacity of the team. Now, this isn't about sounding clever. This is about actually helping people hear how you think. Because if we didn't put those extra bits in, they would have no idea. Some people may ask you, oh, help me understand what led you to that decision. Don't wait to be asked. Actually include it. Because if all you're doing is updating, what you're then doing is missing that leadership thinking. So use this simple sentence. The thinking behind this is, and it shifts you from reporting on the activity to actually revealing the thinking. This is a habit that I believe that you can get into on a pretty regular basis. Start thinking about how you can explain your thinking. This is a really valuable tool for you to use, and I'd encourage you to start using it as soon as possible. So, our deep reflection question today. Again, these are the questions that I encourage you to write down, put some answers, step away from it, come back, have another look, because the answers will bring you closer to what the truth actually is. So, where am I communicating the outcome but leaving others to guess the thinking behind it? So what we're looking at here is how, when you think about the conversations, the meetings, the one-on-ones, the opportunities you have on a regular basis to actually communicate your thinking, where might you be actually communicating the outcome, like we have chosen option A, and not necessarily communicating the thinking. Now, the reason I've put this reflection question there is that having given you that really awesome sentence as this week's tool, if you're able to identify where you're communicating the outcome rather than the thinking, and you're able to do that honestly with yourself, it then means you can come back around and check out and go, oh, okay, here is a sentence I can prepare, or here is the thinking I can demonstrate for the next meeting that I have or the next conversation I have with this person. Yeah? These two things are designed to go together. So, what are our key takeaways today? Well, the first one is output proves delivery, but thinking proves that you can actually lead beyond this. So output proves that you can deliver, but thinking proves that you can actually lead beyond this. The second thing is this. Seniors need to hear how you read the risk. They need to hear how you um, what meaning you see in things. They need to know that you can read and understand the consequences, because invisible thinking equals invisible readiness. If you aren't sharing your thinking, then they don't actually know whether you're ready to move to the next level or not. If senior leaders only see your delivery, they might trust your work, but the next level requires them to actually trust your thinking. They need to hear about that thinking beyond the output. So if today's conversation has made you realize that your work is visible, but your thinking may not be, then use the QR code there, or the link in whatever platform you're watching this on, to book a conversation with me, because the next level often starts when people stop just trusting you and trusting what you deliver, and they start trusting how you're actually thinking. Because what I know is that if they cannot hear how you think, they may not trust you with whatever opportunity or project or promotion is coming next. Thank you so much for joining us for Leadershipization today. If you've got any questions or comments, pop them on the platform that you're watching this on. We would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe on the platform that you're watching this on. Please be aware that we're very comfortable about responding to you. So if you have any questions or suggestions for possible leadershipization episodes, let us know and we'll confirm that we've heard you. Thank you so much. Bye now.